So I assume that this plan is the most possible and most reasonable plan even today, and hopefully we'll have leadership on both sides, in Israel and in the Palestinian Authority, that will be able to negotiate it and to complete it.
And a wall would be made?
The wall is not necessary if there's peace. You know, if there's peace, the wall is not necessary. The wall is not a border. The wall is a security instrument designed to stop the crossing of terrorists. But if there's peace, and hopefully there is, and I'm very optimistic, and I believe that peace is possible. Peace is possible. We only need good leadership on both sides, because the parameters, the major parameters of the peace agreement are very, very, very clear and very well known. And once there's peace, and maybe it'll take a few years to get used to the fact that there's peace, maybe it'll take a few years to trust this peace, but inevitably, hopefully there will be peace and the wall would not be necessary.
Okay. I wondered if you were aware of any exchange of television programming between Palestinian and Israel to help each people learn more about the others and better appreciate each other's humanity.
No, I'm not aware of this exchange. I wish it was that many Israelis know, but I mean, I don't know. I cannot respond to it. I can only tell you that there has been a long dialogue between Israelis and Palestinians how to deal with the different narratives that developed in both societies about the evolving of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. And that dialogue has been, I think, fruitful in the sense that we both realize that a narrative is not a historical fact, and we have our own narrative, the Palestinians have their own narrative, and there's no real necessity to bridge the narratives, but to respect each other's narrative instead of creating one narrative.
Motti, thank you very much. I know that music has no boundaries and medicine has no boundaries, and it's nice to hear that theater now has no boundaries. The question I have is, while it's impossible for you to use Palestinians in your plays, have you reached out to Israeli Arabs at all, and have you done coexistence that kind of way?
Yes. During the first year of the Second Intifada, that was 2001, I was part of a project that was actually initiated by a theater in Germany. A theater in Germany summoned 10 playwrights, 4 Jewish Israelis, 4 Palestinians from the occupied territories, and 2 Israeli Arabs. And we formed a group of 10 playwrights. We spent many weekends, like I think 6 or 7 weekends, in workshops discussing collaboration in writing a play together. And at the end, we came up with a play that contained 8 scenes. 2 of the Palestinian writers dropped from the process because they were threatened by in their neighborhood. So we remained 8 playwrights. Each of us wrote a scene, and these scenes were connected in a kind of a collage format to a show that was produced in Germany. Rather successfully, I must say rather successfully. It was an example of how a dialogue can take place and how significant that dialogue could be. The play didn't deal with the political solutions. It didn't try to solve the political issues of the conflict, but it tried to deal with the personal drama that we go through because of the conflict. How does the conflict affect human life on both sides of the border? How tragic it has become in the last 60 years, in order to warn Israeli society and Palestinian society that the continuing of this conflict is going to be even more tragical. Later, this form of play was taken by the Camry Theater, which is the main theater in Israel today, and they designed a different production in the same style, although they couldn't collaborate with Palestinian writers. So the play was written actually by a group of 8 actors, 4 Jewish Israelis and 4 Arab Israelis. Under the guidance of a director who was a writer, they wrote a play, which is really a wonderful play called Plonter. And it's about life on both sides of the wall, of the security wall. How did the security wall change the life of the people on both sides of it? So these collaborations do exist. I must say, they are not enough. These collaborations are not enough. They do not change the public discourse in a way that a political change can take place. And apparently, as we look at the last election, the results of the election proves that we are far away from a political solution than we were in 1993, much far away than we were in 1993. And that is a depressing observation. It is a depressing observation. But I hope that now, when we have a new administration here, and the new administration is more decisive and more creative about the political solution in the Middle East, I hope that it will change the attitude of the leadership in the Middle East. And I hope that the last efforts that are taking place here will create a political change there.
I have a 3-part question. The first part is, I know that the Camry Theater has a subscriber base that every American theater envies, so that when Pangs of the Messiah was produced there, you had a huge audience. What was the response of that audience? Not artistically, but politically. Second, when you're teaching political playwriting in Tel Aviv, how do you do that and have people still be safe, I assume? And third, I forgot third.
I will forget the first if you continue with the third. So I'll respond to the first 2 questions. Wait, because I'll forget the first. About the subscribers base in the Camry Theater. The theaters in Israel are huge institutions. Although we are a very small country, the theaters have developed into institutions that do not exist in any other country. There's no country in the world that has big theaters as Israel has. For example, the Camry Theater sells 2 million tickets a year. It's huge numbers. The theater is full every night. Shows, I became a playwright. I became a playwright because my first play, which was about the destruction of the Hungarian Jewry in 1944 by the Nazis, which was a long, boring drama that lasted 3.5 hours, it sold 300,000 tickets. So that's how I became a playwright. Pangs of the Messiah was a difficult play to watch because it was dealing with a threat that many Israelis refused to acknowledge. This threat. In spite of it, we sold about 200,000 tickets, which isn't a big success for Israel. It's not a big success for Israel, but it was enough to create, to understand how what people think about the theme of the play. Surprisingly enough, we had about 40,000 settlers who came in buses to see the play. 40,000 settlers who came in buses to see the play. And we handled, post-show discussions with them, and it was very interesting. The first response was that they were very grateful and surprised that for the first time they were not presented on the stage as ridiculous, hallucinating people, and the theater didn't make fun of them. That the theater took the challenge seriously to explore their point of view, to explore their worldview, to explore messianism, to explore fundamentalism without prejudging it.